Hello guys, it's J-Rod again from Epic Upgrades, and today we have a special build for you guys today. We're basically upgrading my old PC, which was a mid-tower case, and we're still using another mid-tower case, just going to be a little bit bigger. We're going to provide a little bit more airflow as we're adding some Thermaltake fans. I'm not going to have not one but two RX480s, 8 gigs, and running an i5 with the ASRock motherboard. I have a Hyper T4 CPU cooler and an 850 watt power supply, so it's going to be a pretty cool rig when all is finished. I'll go step by step and show you the old case, which is an NZXT case. I can't remember which one it was. It's a little bit of an older case. We're moving up to another NZXT case, which is going to be the Phantom 410, and the whole build is going to be black and orange themed. So enjoy the build and enjoy the videos. Alright guys, here's the old rig, and it's kind of cool. You can see on the side here, side panel, there's usually two screws here, one here. Unscrew the tabs, obviously, and then you're going to pull back and the top tray should open. In this case I have a fan wired up here, so I'm just going to just place it to the side. It should be alright there. We're going to look at the inside here. This is my Z170 Pro motherboard, running an i5 with 16 gigs of RAM. I believe it's, I forget what type of RAM it is. It's ballistics. And pretty much I got the Radeon card, RX480. Some generic, I think it's Rosewell or something. 600 watt power supply. The problem is that this case is a little bit congested, and cable management is really bad. I do have space for one extra fan. I think I have one fan here, but needless to say, the new case will have two 12 millimeter fans here, two 14 mil exhaust fans with the one 12 millimeter exhaust fan in the back, and I'm going to put one more intake fan here, and then the power supply is also going to have its own exhaust. So the new case allows for a lot more cable management, a lot more airflow, which is basically going to cool down the system a lot better. And obviously the stock Intel cooler, CPU cooler sucks. So I mean, it does what it has to do for now, but it's, you know, it's really cheap. So basically, since these run a little warm, I figured I'm going to need a little bit more airflow. I don't have the money yet to do a liquid cooled system, so I'm just trying to show you guys what options you have with just using a bigger case and making some space. On the other NZXT case, these drive bays pull out. I've never tried to take out these drive bays. I'm sure they're removable, but even if I take these out, there's not as much space in here. So it was either get a bigger mid-tower case or get a full tower case, and I just bumped up the case. So basically we're going to start taking everything out step by step, and I'll show you how to install it. So first things first, the graphics card is probably the easiest thing to remove. All you got to do is take this 6-pin, pull it out, right? That's easy. And then you're going to look for a little clip here. It says usually around that PCIe slot. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right around here. And you want to flip that little clip this way. You're going to just toss it back, and now this should free up your card. As you can see, it just popped out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You just wiggle it out and take it out, like so. So one RX480 removed. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is you want to take out everything that the power source has connected to the motherboard. So pretty much we'll start with the 24-pin connector. And basically there's a pin on top here. You want to pinch it and then pretty much just pull it out. Apply moderate pressure. Just take your time. You don't have to go crazy. Bend it back and forth. Next you have I believe this is a 6-pin or an 8-pin connected to the motherboard also. And just pinch here and pull this motherboard pin and it should come out. Some of these pins do require a little bit of tugging, but you know, it's not that hard. This seems to be wire tied to the CPU fan, so I'll have to clip that. And let's go over here to check out our SATA connections, which of course is connected to any drive, disk drive, hard drive, solid state, whatever you have. Taking these out one by one, and it's pretty much the same deal. You're gonna pinch and pull up with moderate pressure. You don't want to go crazy and rip something off of the board, but just take your time and get all of these out. Now you'll see some USB connections here. You want to rip those out. Any audio wires, pop them right out. The switch here, this is how you turn on and off the computer. You can pull all these out here. And this is actually a USB here. And so basically the switch is up here in the corner. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's power LED, reset switch, power switch, all that stuff. You can pull it right out of the board. And these are these little switches here. Alright guys, if you haven't done so already, invest in some wire ties like this, even though this really wasn't wire tied the best at all, and some wire cutters. It'll really make your life a lot easier when doing this cable management. We're just going to be cutting all of these little wire ties and taking all this stuff out because this wasn't done properly at all. And then when we go over how to properly manage your cables, you'll see why you need these things. But it's a given. Basically, you need to tie them up tight to keep them out of the way of other components and just to kind of keep everything looking clean and provide more airflow to your system. Alright, so when you're clipping these, just be very careful that you're not snipping any power supply wires, because that wouldn't be a good thing. So just take your time and carefully put one of these ends underneath the plastic wire tie, if there are any, to ensure that you don't cut any wires. So just take your time and cut them all, and then take all the wires out and unplug everything. Okay, so pretty much everything is unplugged. I've unplugged all of these SATAs from these drives and any power connectors that came from the power supply to the motherboard into these drives. And it's a whole lot of spaghetti in here, but just take your time with it. And the next portion would be to kind of clear this up, because you don't want to have to take the motherboard with all this crap in your way. You want to take this buddy out first. So if you go to the back, again, this is a tutorial for maybe those that haven't ever worked on their PC. It's really straightforward. It's just 4 screws, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and this buddy comes out, and you just take all of these wires with it, and it makes everything a lot easier when working with the motherboard. Okay, so I'm basically just going to show you how easy it is. Once you undo those 4 screws, you're just going to lift this up, turn it back, and if everything's unplugged, it all should come out. It looks like I do have one drive that's still connected here that I couldn't really see. So there's so much crap in there. But now all this stuff comes out, and it's basically out of your way. All of this is going to be out of your way. So as you can see, it's a lot cleaner in here. It's going to be a lot easier for you to maneuver, right? So this stuff that's left here it comes with the case. Next thing we're going to do is undo this so we can take out our drives. take out our Blu-ray and DVD drive, whatever drives you have. In this case, that's what we're doing. So basically what you want to do is undo these latches. Mine's in this case lock when they go up, unlock when they go down. Then you can just push these out through the front. And if we pan around here, you can see how easy it is to take them out, right? Just pull them out. Now that being said, a lot of newer builds don't use optical drives, but I like to burn movies, and I don't know who does that, right? But I also occasionally like to watch Blu-ray movies. So it's kind of like a home entertainment / gaming. I do a lot of editing, a lot of artwork, stuff like that. So I kind of like to be able to have that option. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is taking out the motherboard. It's basically, I believe there's about 8 screws located on the corners here and the couple in the center. Just unscrew them all counterclockwise, and take your time each one, and then lift the motherboard upwards and put it onto a non-conductive surface like a cardboard box or something like that. So although this step is already finished, what you want to do once you buy your motherboard is you want to basically do this on a table, or like I said, on a cardboard cutout or something, cardboard box. Put your RAM sticks in, put your CPU in, put your thermal paste, put the CPU cooler on. Do all this stuff before you put the board into your case, because if you're putting the board in the case and not doing that, it's so much harder to like get in here, and especially me, I have big hands, it's a pain. Also, another important fact is to use motherboard standoffs. I know it sounds really stupid, weird. Why do I need these cheap little things? A lot of cases come with them. A lot of cases come pre-designed with, or pre-installed with them, but some cases don't. This case didn't. And what will happen, or could happen, is you're going to use these little screws to tighten down your motherboard. You're going to turn it on once you're done everything, and the PC will turn on for 3 seconds and then it'll turn off. And you go back and say, well, why is it doing that? And you go through all these checks, and it's basically these little contacts underneath here are making contact with the metal from this case, and they're shorting, in essence it's shorting your board out. And your board has a, if it's a more advanced board, it has a feature that cuts power before it damages any of the components. If your motherboard doesn't have that feature, you're pretty much looking at a burnt board sometimes, or some component is going to get fried or could be damaged. So please make sure you use standoffs. You shouldn't have any problems. Alright guys, so I got all the drives out of the old case. Everything's out. That's all the old power supply, old SATA connections, all that. And here's the new Phantom case. As you can see, it's a lot larger than that guy over there. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's a lot larger. There's a lot more space inside. So these front panels were taken out. There's a front panel over this and a top panel here. So you can see this little PCB is exposed. It's very simple to unlock if you have this type of case, or any case that has plastic panels. There were 3 clips here, and I think there's 3 on that side. Same thing on the front. You basically just pinch them and push, and you'll eventually get one end popped out, and then you can just pry it and take it off. Same with the top. It basically just gives you better accessibility, especially if you're going to be changing fans. And changing fans is the same thing as pretty much changing the power supply. 4 screws, unscrew them, fan drops out, put the new fan in, screw them back in. It's really easy.